Good morning, team. It is Tuesday, April 25th. I'm Amy Corr, and I'm here with Kevin Van Neck, but we are not at Goose Island. We are actually out of the Winnetka office today. Decided to shake it up a little. We have a really kind of fun, fast topic for us this morning. So we want to jump on into it. I've got my Traveler Yeti tumbler, and I don't know what Kevin's got for coffee, but whatever you've got, make sure you've got it in hand as we jump into the next episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
That's right. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. We do have a fun topic. In fact, this past week we saw a headline, an article, doom and gloom. I'm sure you've seen many of these, but specifically talking about real estate agents and the fact that they are anticipating that it's going to be a hard year for agents. So as Amy and I were talking and reviewing that article and talking about all the doom and gloom, we thought what better way and message to communicate today than what would we do if we were back in the business? Because we have seen multiple cycles, we've seen what happens, and we've seen agents who haven't made it, and we've seen a lot of agents who have made it through each one of those cycles. So let's start with Amy, and we'll talk about what we can do instead of being paralyzed by the headlines, by the doom and gloom and everything out there, declining transactions, all of that noise. What can we actually do to not only maintain our business, but grow it? Amy, what would you do?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And I do think we're talking to a lot of agents that are sort of feeling paralyzed right now. But I think it's also sort of like thinking up all of these different ideas of what we should do, and then we do nothing. So,
Right.
You know, if it were me, one of the things that some of the conversations that I'm having right now, not even just with agents, but with people in my circle, in my network, you know, I have a very good friend who is also a financial advisor. She advises a lot of very substantial individuals, and, you know, who are basically looking at all of their assets right now and are sort of determining what should they do. And, you know, we were out at a dinner, and it was interesting because we were just having conversation. That's what we do with our people. And, you know, we started talking about real estate. And, you know, she said, the interesting thing is that right now, as a financial advisor, I am telling so many of my clients that real estate is a great hedge for their other investments right now. And she said, you know, she kind of added on to that. And I said, I like hearing that. That's great for our industry, right? But she had said what she doesn't feel like she is seeing is that for a lot of her clients, their agents are not reaching out to have conversation about what's happening in real estate and what decisions do they need to make in the very near future. You know, and a lot of her clientele, I mean, this is just her in particular. There's lots of financial advisors, but the reality is she had said, you know, she has a lot of people who are thinking about what their next move is. A lot of them aren't even impacted by interest rates right now. A lot of them are cash and are trying to figure out what to do next. So what does that mean, or what would I do at that point getting that information? I would recognize that I need to do a better job making sure that my entire set of clientele knows that real estate is an amazing hedge against a lot of their other investments. And what I mean by that also is that they may not be looking to move in 6 months, but that's okay. You know, if there is anybody who's thinking about making a move in real estate, whether it's in 2 or 3 years, you know, she and I were talking about they need to be having a conversation now with their advisors, because they need to be doing things right now so that when they are ready in 18 months, 6 months, 2 years, that they've taken the right steps to do all the things they need to make sure that their asset is going to trade as effectively as possible. And I love this language because to me, how do we sound? Super smart.
Totally.
An asset, trading it, making sure it is worth as much for them. Let's get rid of us feeling like we are salespeople who are selling somebody a used car. We are working on making sure their largest asset in their portfolio will trade when they are ready. So I would be reaching out right now to my entire sphere and saying, let's talk about your real estate asset right now. You know, a lot's been going on with the banking industry. A lot has been going on in the last 12 months with, you know, the stocks, bonds. What is that called?
Yeah, stocks, the stock market.
The stock market, yes. And then, you know, let's talk about your real estate and how that looks. And just say, look, this is something I'm doing for all of my clients right now, because we're trying to find inventory, and we may not get all that we want right away, but by having this smart conversation, you'd be surprised where that's going to lead. And I would get out of my head about, oh, people don't want to hear from me, People need to know this. This is sort of your fiduciary responsibility as a licensed real estate professional who works with them to make sure they know what their options are. The last thing that you want is somebody saying to you a year from now, you know what, Kevin, I wish you would have called me 6 to 12 months ago and we're having this conversation about what we should do in real estate. So if it were me, I'd be leaning deep into understanding that real estate is a very big part of people's portfolio, and me advising them right now could make a huge impact into their long-term, success.
Yeah. It's this is your opportunity to be an advisor, right? To do something outside of a transaction that is valuable to a client, to a referral source, to anybody that owns property right now. So take advantage of it. It's funny because that ties directly into what I would do, which is what I did in 2007 when I got my license. As the market was crashing, I was coming into the market. I had no idea what the Disney World of real estate was like in 2006. I didn't get the benefits of the wildness and opportunity then, and I didn't know any better. So quite literally, I read a blog. It was called Active Rain at the time, and I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have clients. People didn't even know that I was in real estate. So what did I do? I followed this blog, and it was really simple. And it was just meeting with people, and it was just communicating with people. So taking what you just said, when it comes to communicating about the market, is making a goal of meeting with 2 people a week. And it doesn't have to be long. It could be 15 minutes. It could be a real estate review. And then you address what their future plans are for the property, just like Ninja teaches. It could be a conversation about Ford topics, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, whatever it is. It could be breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks. It could be any one of those things. So I think that the goal here is to have conversations with your people. And the side benefit, in addition to being an advisor to them, is you're teeing yourself up to receive more referrals. And growing your network, because we have fewer transactions available, there's less opportunity, fewer listings because of inventory. So what are you going to do? You have to expand your network. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. And they're more likely to refer you if you are intelligent, sound intelligent, if you are delivering value and you have something to talk about versus, if I'm never too busy for your referrals. It's important they know to refer you, but you can actually drive referrals by being that advisor. So this is a huge opportunity. And it's about setting expectations too, because as we're talking with agents, it's understanding that, look, there's low inventory, you may not have listings, you may not have buyers that are finding anything. As you start doing this, if you haven't been doing it, it's not going to be tomorrow, it's not going to be next week, it's not going to be 2 months. This is the long game. So setting expectations, if you start meeting with people, it's not necessarily that they're going to refer you tomorrow or they're going to have a need tomorrow, but it is expanding your network so you are able and willing to receive whatever comes to you because you are being an advisor, you're expanding your network, and you're delivering value.
And they always say what you do in the next 30 days, you will start seeing it impact your business in 90 to 120. So there is going to be a little bit of that lead time. And here's the last thing that I think I'll leave you with is that don't just think of real estate as somebody's primary house transaction. It isn't just where they live. There are people who want to diversify and invest, buy a condo for their kids in the city, all different types of things. So I want you to take a wider lens too. When you're talking about real estate, people are not necessarily focusing just on their house. There could be other needs that can get filled once you start the conversation.
Absolutely.
So, I think the bottom line here as we wrap up is it's about, look, there's things that you can't control right now, but there are also things that you can. And it's about you taking action and just doing one thing. Figure it out. What am I going to do over the course of the next 30 days? Maybe it'll take you 30 minutes a day that's going to start moving the needle in your business. And don't worry about everything else. All the other stuff that's going on, the chaos that you can't control it. Right. So just focus on you and you'll create success. We guarantee it. So.
That's right.
We hope you found this helpful now that you know what we would be doing. But make it a great Tuesday. We really appreciate you joining us here in Winnetka, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. But until then, remember, out of my Yeti mug, you got this.